Hey there, and welcome to the She Calls Her Shots podcast. Every week, we chat through different business building topics that will help you gain clarity around your goals, find inspiration in your journey, and also help you create a life and a business that you love. My name is Krista, and I'm a wedding and brand photographer and your go-to no-fluff business coach. In these episodes, we talk through both the tactical strategies, habits, and the mindset work that will help you take those really big leaps. And we always focus on the real talk and the behind the scenes of what it takes to create a sustainable and a thriving business. Because let's be honest, the work isn't always glamorous, but it's always worth it. So girlfriend, let's make some moves and start calling our own shots. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to this week's episode of the She Calls Her Shots podcast. In today's episode, we are talking through taking bold and aligned action. I might die on this hill believing that this is maybe one of the most important topics, one of the most important things that we can zoom in on and focus in on as business owners. And the reason being that we're going to talk about this and of course dive into it deeper, but there are multiple different ways that we can take action in our business, right? There are multiple different avenues we can take, routes we can take, projects we can work on. But the truth is that not all of the actions that we take are the same, being that the place that we're taking the action from internally, kind of those deeper motivations and reasons behind why we're choosing to take a specific action over another, can really drastically change the outcome of where we end up going. And this is so important that this is kind of a pillar behind what it is that I do with clients when I work with them. Like this topic is something that is kind of, even if we're not directly talking about it, when we're talking and thinking about productivity and our time management and what we're doing and our intentions behind our work, we are kind of always talking about this in some capacity. So I was really excited to bring this to the podcast today because I was actually having a conversation with a coaching client this past week where we had a pretty direct conversation about this. We were having a pretty candid, open conversation, and she opened up to me and expressed that she was coming from a place currently in her business where things feel a little scary, to be honest, right? There's not as much income coming in as she would like. And she is kind of facing this question of, am I going to need to go back to work? Like, that's not what I want to do, but I'm afraid because the place I'm in currently is not a place where I can remain, right? My business needs to be bringing in money. And we had this really open conversation around it. And I wanted to just share some of my fundamental beliefs around this to help you feel inspired to take bold and aligned action, and also define, what does that mean? What does that look like? What's the difference between if I'm taking action in my business, isn't that good? If I'm taking action on a project or a task, isn't it good that I'm taking action? Yes. And it's also really important for us to dive into kind of that reasoning why behind you're taking the action that you are. So I just want to dive right in today because I feel like this is a big, juicy topic, and I know that this is going to be something that you can relate to because, as we know, as business owners, no one is telling us what to do. No one is telling us, hey, work on this marketing thing, do this task next, do this project. I need this done by Friday, right? We might have clients that have hired us for services that are expecting things by a certain date, right? That's pretty cut and dry on what's expected of us. But what's not expected or known is everything else of how we're choosing to grow. The visibility, the ways we are going to become more visible for our clients, the marketing efforts that we're going to be working on, the content that we're creating, like none of this is something that is given to us. We just have to figure it out. And so what can often happen, especially if you can relate to this feeling of my business isn't bringing in the money that I need it to be making, and I'm starting to feel some feelings around it, right? It's usually some feelings of fear, worry. It's also some scarcity behind this, right? Like, oh, there's not going to be enough clients. I'm not going to make enough money. I'm not going to have this. So we can sometimes get into this little bubble of feelings where this isn't working and I'm afraid it's going to continue not working. And I don't know how to fix it or how to make it work. So if you have been in that feeling lately, if you feel like you might be there now, it's really important for us to start to create a new belief system for you to create from. Because when we're taking action or doing something out of this fear frequency, I'm just going to call it a fear frequency because I feel like I just made that up on the spot and I like it. So this fear frequency, the way that that shows up is not just in an internal thing that we're feeling, but it also actually changes how we're taking action. How you show up changes. The way that you speak about your offers, your services, your business changes. The way that you talk about it casually with your friends when someone asks you, hey, how's your business going? Like when we're coming and operating out of this fear frequency, everything changes. And it's this really interesting thing, I believe, because I'm a firm believer, all of our feelings, emotions, none of them are wrong. They are all here to serve a purpose. This is also something that I very firmly believe as I've learned and dived deeper into the Enneagram. I believe this even more fully. The fear exists for a reason. The fear is trying to keep us safe. The fear is saying, hey, something doesn't feel right. I'm feeling really unsure and something needs to change because I want to keep you safe. So this fear frequency, there's nothing wrong with it. You're not wrong for feeling it. It's not a wrong feeling to have. It's just not the one that we want to operate from. So when I mentioned earlier, not all of the actions that we take are kind of weighted the same, right? So what we just talked about, how taking action out of fear changes the frequency in the way that we show up, the actual audible frequency of how we're talking about our business, right? Typically and I've seen this working with clients, when they're in a place of fully believing that things, that they're right where they're meant to be, right? Like things are working out exactly how they should, when they're kind of coming from this abundant frequency or this abundant mindset, there's a tone that you can hear when they talk about it. Their voice is like audibly on like a higher frequency. Like the words are just flowing a little bit better. Whereas when this fear frequency starts to come up, there's a lower tone. There's more ums, there's more stumbles, there's more not sure what to say. There's more, you can just feel the difference. And you can kind of catch yourself and notice, oh, I'm starting to notice this fear frequency is showing up, right? Not that I'm feeling fearful. I think this is an important distinction to make. Not that, oh, I'm feeling afraid, even though that is probably what you're feeling. When we can identify it as, oh, this fear frequency is starting to come up inside of me. We do two things in that. Number one, we empower ourselves to change it because we're not identifying as the fear. It's not I'm afraid or I'm worried or I'm, insert whatever sort of emotion here. We're detaching it from ourselves a bit and we're allowing ourselves to then decide, do I want to feel this or do I want to change? And so you remove some of its power by identifying it. And you're also less likely to take action that's going to cause you to overwork and experience burnout, right? Because you can almost think of this fear frequency when it's here and we start to take action from that place. We're likely less excited about what it is that we're working on, whether it's a way of marketing or, whatever project. If we're coming from that fear place, we're likely less excited. We're doing it more so out of desperation. I feel like I have to take this action to do this thing because if I don't, something bad will happen. So we're almost, we're more likely to overwork and experience burnout because we just we're so worried that if this doesn't work, we're not really sure what we're going to do. So that's kind of the fear frequency. I want to shift gears. I'm like, ooh, that was a lot talking about the fear frequency. Let's shift gears. So what does it mean to then turn that around and take action from belief that says you're right where you're meant to be, right? As my mentor, Amber, says, if the dream is in you, it's for you. So what does it look like when we can instead operate from this place? And I know that you might be hearing this and you might think, Krista, this is great, right? Like, it'd be great if I could just live from this place. And I'm here to tell you that, truthfully, this is the real work that you will do as a business owner. All of the marketing strategies, all of the other tasks that you're doing is the fun work. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel fun, but I think what often happens when we first start a business or in our first few years, we start to make that work, the work that's actually like figure outable and Googleable, right? How do I set up my email list? How do I create good emails? How do I do this? We start to make that work the enemy because it feels hard and it feels challenging. And what I learned after 12 plus years of growing a business is, actually, that's the work that gets to be fun, because the real work that I have to do is exactly what we're talking about today, is figuring out how to get so honest with myself around where am I taking action from? What are the deeper beliefs I have about myself? How am I operating on a daily basis, right? Like, this might sound like the fluff and the nice to have stuff, but this is actually the work. So when you're taking action from this place where you fully believe I am right where I'm meant to be, the opportunities that I need are all around me. Right? There is abundance here. There is abundance in my life. I'm going to choose to find it as opposed to believing it's not here. When we can really put in the work, because it takes intentional work every single day to choose these beliefs, you're going to be more inspired. You're more likely to follow through on your projects, your tasks, your marketing, the things that you're working on, your content. Your energy is likely going to be very different as far as how you show up for that, because you are actually operating from a place of this work that I'm doing matters, and I'm actively choosing to believe that there is an abundance available to me. Like, this is a big shift. And all of that mixed together really does have the possibility to create real change. And so what I do, again, kind of the undercurrent of when I'm working with clients, is to help them go from that place where we kind of feel safe in these old patterns that tell us, these old patterns and beliefs, I should say, that tell us that building a business should feel hard. The work that I'm doing should feel challenging. I shouldn't enjoy what I'm doing too much because, I need to earn the positives that I'm doing. Like, there's this struggle mentality that we kind of just take on as business owners. And a lot of it is formed from beliefs that we had as children, but when we start to feel the challenges of being a business owner, we start to then take on these beliefs that it has to feel hard. It has to feel challenging. We have to earn things. And I've found this in myself, and I've caught myself in these patterns. We're all human and we're all going to experience these things. So my work with my clients is to help them shift that into that more inspired, aligned, bold action, where they're coming from a place where they can fully start to believe and embody the belief that what is meant for them is here for them. That they don't have to keep searching for the thing that they're looking for, right? I had a post about this on Instagram, and I think it's so incredibly true. When we're searching for something, with a lot of my clients that I work with, it tends to be one of their biggest goals is to work with more clients, right? So if you're a photographer, you want to book more clients. If you are a coach, you want more clients. If you're an educator, you want more students. So one of the main goals that I often see with a lot of the people and clients that I work with is I want to earn more money, right? I want to work with more clients, which is a beautiful goal in so many reasons, because the women that I'm coaching, it's not just for the money. They're doing it because they want to make an impact. And so I love getting to explore and do this work with them because it's not just about the money for them. They want to make an impact in the lives of others. They serve. This is their heart. This is their business. They pour all of who they are into their work. But one of the things I love doing is helping them recognize, amazing, I love this impact that you want to make. And when we think about the money piece, what is it that the money you feel is going to bring you? Because there's usually a feeling that we can tap into that the money is going to bring. For a lot of women that I work with, I see this come up time and time again. The feeling behind the money that they're going to make is something along the lines of safety. Hey there, it's Krista here. If you're a creative business owner that wants to feel more confident in your skills and your ability to create a thriving business, I'd love to invite you to join me for my newest 30-day challenge called the Confident Creative. It's completely free, and inside the Confident Creative Challenge, I'm helping you implement the strategies that will not only help you feel more confident as a creative business owner, but I'm also giving you access into the exact tools that I use to bring in more joy and money to my growing business every day. At the end of the day, our confidence really does affect how much our business can grow. We have to deeply believe in ourselves and feel gratitude for where we are right now if we want to take things to the next level. But oftentimes our doubts, our fears, our worries, our insecurities, all of these things can sometimes take over in our mindset and really keep us playing small. So if you're ready to join me inside the challenge, head on over to heykristamarie.com/challenge. And as soon as you join, you'll get immediate access to the challenge information, the guided PDF workbook, the daily journal prompts, and a beautiful daily checklist to help you track your results. There's honestly no better time to join me than right now. So if you're ready to gain massive clarity, unleash your inner confidence to create that life and business that you're proud of, I can't wait to see you inside the challenge. So again, that's heykristamarie.com/challenge, and I can't wait to see you inside. If I can make a certain amount, I will feel safe. I will feel like I can provide for myself. I will feel like I can provide for my family. And it provides a sense of safety that I'm okay. Like if we get really honest with ourselves about what is it that we feel like the money is going to bring, safety is usually a pretty big piece. And when we can recognize the safety that already exists in our life, things really start to change, because usually what happens is when we're searching for safety in a goal, safety in money or an income number, we're usually also like downplaying the safety that already exists. We're usually kind of subconsciously telling ourselves, I'm not safe yet until I have this thing or hit this income goal or make this amount of money. If I'm not there, I'm not safe. And so we all of a sudden aren't recognizing the safety that already exists. And when we can tap into, oh, there's actually safety here. There's safety that's already available to me. And when we can really feel that and believe that, the way that we show up in how we are marketing and working to make the money drastically shifts. And so I share that with you because there's so many layers here, right? It makes sense that the human experience and our journey as a business owner is not this cut and dry formula. It's not this thing that says, implement this strategy, do this marketing thing, create this type of content, and your business will succeed. That's just not how it works, because we are whole humans behind this business that are experiencing a plethora of emotions that are tied to all of the work that we're doing. And so my work with clients is to help guide them back to themselves, to feel so confident in themselves, in where they are, to find the safety, to find the joy, to find everything that is currently available to them, to help them shift their perspective and see what they already have through a different lens so that they can create and work from a place of deep inspiration. They can develop that inner confidence and they can find that clarity that really helps them see through and take that bold action to actually accomplish the goals that they have. Because if it were just as easy as implement this system and this strategy, we would all be millionaires by now. Let's be honest. I've invested in enough courses over my 12 years of business that I should be a millionaire, right? We're not there yet, but we're getting there, right? That's a goal. I don't know that it's to be a millionaire, but the way that I am approaching it is exactly what we're talking about today. And it's hard. And I have a support system, and I would never expect myself to do this alone. And I would never expect my clients or anyone listening in, I would never expect you to be able to do this alone. This is the work. This is the work that we do. And so I wanted to share, I have two ways. If you're like, Krista, I need this. I feel this. I am ready to get honest with myself and to do the work that I know that I'm capable of doing to get to where I want to go. If that's you, there are two ways that we can work together this year. And the thing that I love about my programs, and I'm going to be a little bold and share kind of quite confidently, because I have specifically created these programs to meet you exactly where you are. When I was looking for coaching, when I was first starting my journey of looking for a business coach, I felt very underwhelmed by the options of how I could work with someone. It was like you could either spend $7,000 to be a part of their group program for 6 months, or you could spend $10,000 to $15,000 to work with them one-on-one. And I just remember thinking to myself, how is this a starting place? How is this a place for me to even just start to learn how to trust myself? Like, I'm not even at the place where I can fully trust myself yet, let alone spend that kind of money to work with someone in a limited amount of time. And so if that's you, if you're like, yes, I am not at the place where I'm ready to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every single month or in a 6-month container, I have good news, because Amplify is exactly going to meet you right where you are. Amplify is a group coaching program. It's a very intimate group of women. And when I say very intimate, I mean very intimate. It is open enrollment, so you can join at any time in the year, but this isn't a program where you can just like go to my website and join. I like to have calls with you ahead of time just to make sure that Amplify is a good fit for what you're looking for. But it's a very intimate group of other creative women business owners, and you have lifetime access. And here's the thing, and I'm just going to be open with you. I was like, do I talk about the payments? I'm going to talk about the payments because I'm so inspired by my own program and the women who are taking action inside of the program. So you can either choose two options. You can pay in full $2,000. $2,000, you're in. $2,000, you never again have to make a payment. And you are in it for the lifetime access of the program. Or if you're like, Krista, $2,000 is steep, that's okay. There's a payment plan. You can pay $250 a month for, I think it's 8 months. Does that make sense? Yeah. $250 a month for 8 months. So it's not even more expensive to do the payment plans for 8 months. And then you've completely paid it off and you're in for life. And I am so excited about this coaching program because it works. It does what it's meant to do. And it's here to support you and grow alongside you as your business grows. We have 4 calls every single month with me leading them. We have strategy calls. We have a goal setting call once per quarter where we do an entire goal setting and visualization to help you go into that next quarter with more clarity, ease, joy, and flow. We have live coaching calls 2 per month where I get on and we do live coaching. And like I said, it's intimate. So come with your one-to-one questions. If it were just me and you on a call, come with those questions. And we're growing alongside a community of other women, right? That's the whole intention and the purpose behind it. This is for the woman who is ready to take that next step, but is still kind of trying to find her footing, still trying to figure out where exactly it is that she's growing next. If you are ready for more, I have one-on-one options. And really with my one-on-one coaching, we're going to dive into your Enneagram type. We're going to really tap into what are those inner superpowers and strengths that you have naturally. We're going to help you develop the areas that you want to strengthen, the things that you might want to put a little bit more care and attention into. And one-on-one coaching, it's all tailored, of course, to meet you right where you are in your business. We have 2 one-to-one video calls every single month. And there's an onboarding questionnaire that helps bring light and clarity to what needs the most attention and what we're going to focus on first. The thing I love about my one-on-one coaching is that it's kind of this hybrid mix of when we are starting our journey together, you've completed the onboarding questionnaire, we have a very clear picture of where your business is right now and where you want to go. So we will bring that into the calls, but there's also space for you to talk about when something comes up. If you're struggling with something, if there's been a challenging conversation or situation or something that you need support with, the one-to-one calls really allow that space for both. And I say all of this because I want you to fully know that you deserve a business and a life where you can confidently take up space. The world needs you and what you have to share. And what I know from 12 plus years of growing a business, and for a lot of that doing it by myself. I probably spent 8 years on the beginning side of this, doing it mostly on my own. And I fully believe that you are capable of getting to where you want to go. And I also know that given the experience that I've had working with coaches, completing programs, like the putting in the work of growing multiple different types of businesses, having the experience to help you get there faster, to help you not make the same mistakes that I did, to help you actually feel like you have support on your side that will give you naturally allow you to have more clarity and have more confidence around this bold, inspired action that you're taking. So all of that said, I would love for us to have a conversation, whether you're interested in Amplify or one-to-one. It all just starts with a free call, a call for us to just talk through, for me to understand a little bit more about your goals, about your business. We can decide what might be a good fit for you. You might already have an idea of what might be a good fit, but we'll have a conversation and we'll chat through your goals and figure out what option might be the best for us to work together at this time. So if that's something that you're interested, you can head on over to heykristamarie.com/contact. Go to my contact page, send me an email. We'll schedule a call, 30 minutes. And sometimes I like to even do some coaching on it. So if we have time for some coaching, you might even get some coaching on it, but really to help us figure out how can I best support you and meet you right where you are to make this bold, inspired action feel easier, to help it feel more natural. So I would love to have a conversation with you. Head over to heykristamarie.com/contact. And as always, I look forward to hearing from you and chatting with you over in the next episode. One last thing before you go. I'd absolutely love it if you left a review on Apple Podcasts. Or if you've already left a review, I'd love for you to share this episode with your business bestie. I love getting to shout out my listeners on the show, and the more listeners that we have, the more that I can help others create a thriving and sustainable business too. Thank you so much again for being a part of this community, and I can't wait to hear your takeaways from today's episode.